Like I said, literally just like I said, being that old mangled tree, resilient, standing tall in the face of cut fields and cut grass and cut trees, unapologetically being who I am and actually working towards that, because obviously throughout my life I've been told I'm useless, or maybe not even told I'm useless, but maybe that's what I perceive from other people's interpretations of what's normal. It's like I never felt like I fit in quite right with in any situation in my life, really and truthfully. And that's always fucking left me with like a sense of, what's the word, isolation, alienation, misunderstanding. It's like
all those feelings.
Something's wrong with me. I'm incorrect in some way, shape, or form. I should not be here, type deal. This place, this world was not made for me, type deal. So it's like I've been resilient through that, and now my trunks have grown, my branches have grown, and now I found out exactly who I need to be, who I want to be, who I am.
Come on.
God damn.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Hello.
How's it going?
Welcome to another episode of the Jeoffrey Sarpong podcast. Come on, brother. It's not like I've not been with you the half today, but it's good. It's good to be back. We've had a little break for a couple of weeks, just been scheduling other podcasts not happening, which is okay, which is good. All love to the people that I invite on here to try to come. But I'm so glad that we're back. We're back today with Jason. Jason, how are you, brother?
Well, how's it going, guys? How we doing? I'm just I'm chilling, as per usual, chilling. But that's what my past self wants to say, actually. I'll tell you that right now. Usually I would say, how am I doing? Oh, I used to say, that's a loaded ass question, to be asking me. Then I started saying, oh, I'm chilling. But now I'm on a new pathway of learning and doing. There's only two things to do in this life, and that's to be proactive. So what am I doing? How am I feeling? I'm learning and I'm doing. That's it.
Let's get into that.
How you doing, though, Jeff?
Hey, brother, thank you so much, bro. Of course, always, bro. I'm telling you, from now on, you're going to be one of the people that I talk to the most, because I just feel like me and you, we just have that connection, resonation. It's like we were saying before. It's like we were saying just before we started. We were just talking, walking around. That conversation we just had, just off the cuff, not even, no topics, no agenda. It was just connecting.
Nothing from something, that creation from nothing to something, that connection, contribution,
Literally, and that's so natural. And I think it's just natural speaking to you, because I think we're both of the same mind. So I think, obviously, I'm so glad to have you here. I'm so glad for you to be here. And I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for this episode too. Okay, cool. So let's get into it. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, and I know we were discussing this before. It's crazy. It's crazy the growth that people have, and it's crazy that I think both me and you are going through this insane change, and it's so rapid, right? Like I was saying before, that I'll make a change, I'll be able to reassess myself and then look back and be like, oh wait, do I now have to make another change? Because the fact that I'm not the same person I was before, I'm judging myself against that version of myself. But that past version is not even real. It's ephemeral. It's in your head. It's already gone. And the stuff that stop you from doing that, and I want to break that down with you today, to help the people out there about how they can. People also going through that same experience, because I know that I think we all live the same lives. It's just different avenues, different viewpoints, different pathways. So I think if we can kind of get to a stage where we can have some perspective about the stuff we're going through, then maybe they will also have that perspective. So okay. Okay. All right. So to begin with, I want to talk about the prisons of people's perception. There's this quote that I really love, and it's we all live in the prisons of people's perception of us, and it's up to us not to make that perception who we are. So first off, the question is simple: how do we break free from others people's perception of us? Going from this your experience of growing up and seeing people have different perception of you that wasn't what you had of yourself in your mind, breaking free from that, and even that continual process of having to figure that out again. Talk to me about what that quote means to you, and also what your relationship is with that idea.
I'm glad you said let's talk about what that quote means as well, because Me, I'm a fundamentalist, you know. I develop the foundations. Me, I like to build foundations, strong foundations in whatever I'm doing. It doesn't have to be, you know, when it comes to making building a building. Sorry, I'm just watching two squirrels interlocked into some.
I can see that too.
What that is kind of, yeah. Tell them, show them. Okay. Anyway, that's how I was saying. They straight scrapping. I was like, hey man, they playing around there. It's kind of fire. Anyway, sorry. Back to the topic.
The world is the world.
It's the world is the world. You gotta enjoy it. You gotta enjoy it, man. You don't wanna miss that shit, man.
You don't wanna miss that beauty.
So sometimes we're just two squirrels, just fucking on a tightrope, scrapping. You know, the battle between mind and body, really and truthfully, mind and soul. It's that psychosomatics, that dissonance. You're trying to balance yourself on the tightrope. Your mind's telling you to go this way, your ego's telling you to go that way. Your heart wants this, your soul wants that. At the end of the day, I got completely sidetracked. Sorry, the residents. That's what we call.
Bro, I was about to go off on a squirrel thing, bro. Pull it back. People's perception of you. What does that quote me to you?
Trust me. That happens all the time, man.
I mean, that's what I'm here to do, bro. I'm here to pull you back. But go off, though. Go back again.
But what was the quote?
So we all live in the prisons of people's perception.
We all live in the.
Up to us to make that perception who we are.
It is true. How do you
relate to that?
I relate. I feel like not even me just relates to that. We all relate to that because, for one, we all have a perception of ourselves, right? And then in that perception, we want to live up to that perception. Why? Because we believe that's who we are. We believe this is who we should be. It's the right thing to do. But at the end of the day, for some people, we also have that perception of. We have that realization that other people has a perception of who we are as well. And that perception of other people's eyes looking in on your identity completely changes the trajectory of your perception of self. What do I mean by that? Simply just knowing other people are watching you and hearing the words that you're saying, seeing the stuff that you're creating, acting in the way you behave, will completely change the way you perceive yourself and how you express that into the world. Simply because you know, like, you want that validation, you want to fit in. It's that tribal, biological, you know, primordial need to fit in with your tribe. You know, if you start coughing back in the day, though, everyone will start looking at you like, bro,
is this nigga ill?
It's like, oh shit, yeah, you're gonna affect the tribe, bro. You gotta go walk off in that direction, and then, you know, shit, walk 15 miles in that direction. You know, stay in the back, and now you're isolated. Now you're alone. You know, it's like that's the whole point. So
we've evolved to be able to see that and notice that quickly, and then adjust our behavior towards that, so we don't get isolated from the tribe.
Yeah, but in a sense that it's like because, you know, back in the day it's like you don't have much to do. Oh yeah, my bad. Back in the day, it's like I got used to that one because I like to get chill. You know, I like to get chill, loose and get loose. That's cool. That's no diddy. Oh, R.I.P. the boy, man. Come on, dog. That guy's a villain, man. That guy's an actual villain. Anyway, but yeah. So it's like. I even forgot what I was saying.
No, but okay, so yeah, you're talking about like I was saying how we evolved to be able to see that. But like basically the question is, how do you break free from that? Like now we've noticed that does happen. We all have that. What are some of the tools or like ideas that you've learned about how to break free from the perception of you?
Because at the end of the day, you have to realize that other people are a mirror. Like everything. Like, I got a couple quotes for this one. On resources. But at the end of the day, you got to realize everything is a reflection of yourself. I just got a comment right now. You can see that. It says kaboom.
That means see that, but it says kaboom.
It says kaboom.
I'll verify it says kaboom. When you open the phone, it came up kaboom.
That shit. You have to. See, I even forgot the link to that. Got too many thoughts. Too many thoughts.
Too many thoughts in my head from everyone else's advice.
Trust me, it's the whirlwind, man.
A peace of mind would be nice.
Salam! Oh my lord! Get off your phones, people. Get off your phones. Sorry. Anyway, let me find this thing real quick. Boom. You want to know a secret? The relationship you have with yourself literally creates everything around you. It's funny, actually. Even your relationship with others is a mirror of the relationship with yourself. What you see in others exists in you. What you judge in others is what you express in yourself. What you love in others is what you have not yet realized you possess. This is why loving yourself is so damn powerful. It's not the cheesy, self-affirming bullshit. It's your actual relationship with your soul. Some would say it's Christ. Some would say the universe. Some would say even just love in self. Love in itself. Connection. It manifests and creates your physical reality. So everything is, by default, how you interpret things, right? So you need that mirror. You need that mirror to actually, because as we've said before, the God consciousness, the God does not like
the Godhead cannot view itself.
Yes, the Godhead does not view itself. A knife cannot cut itself. Water does not wet itself. That's Alan Watts right there, you know. And essentially, it means we cannot see the blemishes. We cannot see our achievements. We cannot recognize the actual value of who we are and what we are without having an actual mirror in front of us to do that. And that mirror is you guys. That mirror is you, Jeff. That mirror is nature. That's everything around us. So in that sense, while we are molding our own and creating our own perceptions of ourselves, the outside world is also doing the same thing.
Then here's a question then. Not to stop you. Actually, finish that though. Finish the film. We just talked about this. Finish the film.
But the main point being is, you have to. Oh, I lost it.
I'll bring you back. Because I think I know where you're going. No,
yeah.
Right, okay, so is the question I had, right? Then is our identity shaped by other people, or about our own truths?
That's a good question. No, see, that's the thing. That's what I was gonna get into. That's literally what my next point was gonna be.
Yeah.
It's the. So it's also shaped by other. It's shaped by other people if you let it be shaped by other people. It's shaped by other people if you let it be shaped by other people. But the most potent form of identity is your own truth, really and truthfully, your own authenticity, your own beliefs, your own unbiased and experience, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. That is the most potent, the most concrete, foundational type identity that you will find. Like what other people see from you and perceive from you will never be the full picture. Will never be the full picture of who you actually are. Even how you perceive yourself wouldn't be the full picture of the entirety of who you are. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to come to the realization that you can let people determine your life for you, or you can determine your life for yourself and be the author of your own story type deal, right? Are you gonna let other people, write little sentences in your book, or are you gonna be like, okay, you can write your sentences, yeah, but this is how I'm gonna interpret it from my truth, from my belief, my authenticity. It's an interesting one. That's one thing about breaking free. You have to be self-aware. You have to look into the mirror. You have to be silent, and you have to look within, really and truthfully, because all the answers reside within. We were all born with that natural, innate wisdom to actually know what's going on. I think there's a concept called what do you call it? Why is amnesia?
What does it mean though? Like,
God amnesia. It's that type where it's like some people believe that we obviously come from, that we are gods, and that we placed our consciousness here. We came down from Earth to experience this reality, and because of that, we chose to forget everything that we've learned in some type of like amnesia, right?
Yes.
So that we know what all we need to know. We have all the answers to our questions, but we choose to forget them. But they still reside within us, somewhere deep within, and you're not gonna find it anywhere outside. It's all within, your being, within your soul, within your heart. And I like to say my motto is, do it right, do it every day. Your heart is the compass. Let it guide you to your truth, really and truthfully. Because if we think about that one, the heart is in the middle of the body, it's in between the three upper chakras, the three lower chakras, the middle Daitian, connects everything together in a nice little coiled snake, if you will, kundalini, but we ain't gonna get into that right now. Do your thing.
Thank you for that. Actually, that's so brilliant. Like the way you've just actually like explained that to me, and also just the ideas, and I relate to that so much too, because like Man, like the experience of like letting other people's perception like dictate who you are, it's something I think we all go through, and I think maybe it's from childhood that we, I think some certain families, you grow up, you care about how other people will perceive, especially your mother or your father will perceive you. So from then that seed of that idea begins that your value is now determined by an external factor, and then when you grow up, you don't really understand how to just let that go. And I think that what I realized about myself was that like in order to really like actually be who I am and not have any fear or anxiety or just even love for myself and self acceptance actually was me understanding that like the idea that people's perception of you will control you is only an idea in your head, and like once you let go of that idea, then you can really begin to make the work. Then the work really begins. The work of actually working on yourself, figuring out who you are, and actually having a relationship with these people. They become not audiences, they become members, they become participants, reflections. You can have conversations with them, and then you're not too stuck on that idea of that what you thought they had in your head, because usually that idea is negative. I think we have that negative perception of ourselves, and we externalize that, like you said, it's a reflection.
Projecting our shadows onto others, saying, "Oh yeah, we think they're gonna think bad about us because we think bad about ourselves."
Exactly, and then so we have that perception when we deal with them. But you said something so good, and I didn't want to interrupt you then, but I think I remember now. You mentioned the third thing you were saying about how love is we love what we don't have in ourselves. Like we love the things that we are yet to accept about ourselves in people. Yeah. Like go off that stopped me there. Go off that. What does that even mean? And how do you understand what does that say about love if that's an aspect of love for everyone else?
That's a bar. So basically this is a quote from Girl from website. Started following her like a couple yesterday even, because obviously I resonate with this individual's posts on Instagram. Girl from website, shout out to Girl from website, savage, can't even lie. What you judge in others is what you suppress in yourself. What you love in others is what you have not yet realized you possess. So it's that yeah, let that one sink in for a little bit.
Let that one breathe.
Let that one sink in for a little bit. Oh my gosh. So it's the idea of I don't want to say the words that come into mind now are jealousy and envy. You see someone who has something, and obviously I guess this would be the opposite side of the coin. You hate things, or you're jealous and envious of something that someone has, because you don't possess it. It's the same side of the coin. You love what you let me get the quote back up as well. What?
You love what you have yet to realize.
Yeah, you love in others what you have not yet realized you possess. Yeah. So it's like, though you don't realize you possess what you. I don't know how to explain that one. Like,
is it more like Is it like, because what I relate to how it struck with me is that when you meet someone, right, and then you see them, for example, you meet a girl and you feel like this person is free, this person has this aspect of themselves which I really like because I admire this version of themselves, this version that they can inhabit, and you admire that, and that thing you admire is because you feel like you want that but you don't have that yet, but it's within you. That's how you can relate, that's how you can connect.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah, literally it's like, oh my god, you don't realize you love it because just like, oh, I want to be like this guy. I admire this person. I would like to emulate this person. I'm inspired. I want to act like that. I want to be that free, that liberated. I want to talk like that, whatever. But the only reason like you realize that you love it is because it's somewhere within you. Like you don't realize you are capable of what this is. It's a reflection of yourself essentially. So it's like what you love loves you. You know what I mean? Ooh. What you love literally loves you. It's like there's another quote or another post on the same page as well. What you see in others exists in you. You know what I mean? What you see in others exists in you. It's like your capacity to love others is literally your capacity is a reflection of your capacity to love yourself. You know what I mean?
Have you struggled with that in your life? To see that within yourself and then...
Yes, because obviously highly impressionable. Highly impressionable. Highly fucking, what's the word? Inspired. I like to watch other people's content. I like the way people Like me as a person is an amalgamation of all my favorite, cartoon characters, anime characters, philosophers, YouTubers, whatever I see something and I'm like, oh, that's dope. I wish I could be like that. So I start acting like that straight up. And that's straight up. Like, and then eventually, after so many different fucking, idols and heroes, you become like an original type of. This is how I present myself now, taken from the synthesizer. It's literally synthesis. That is synthesis at its finest. But hey, what was your question, by the way?
No, you answered it. It wasn't even a question to be answered. I was just asking how you relate to that. How you relate to the idea that the love quote too, but also and I think to be fair, I think you answered it actually. Then you mentioned something which is really cool. You said what you love is within yourself is what you love, and it reminded me of a quote: "What you seek is seeking you." And just before this, we started, we were talking about something, and just to move on to that topic, just slightly, move into that topic. We're talking about the algorithm and how the algorithm is a what it basically is something that it will show you things for you that you think that you like, but over time you'll start to mold you into the person that they think you should be, because it's just slowly every single day showing you things that they think you like. And so the algorithm is programming you while you're programming the algorithm, and that you relate to that. You relate to that what you seek is seeking you. So develop on that point. Talk to me more about that.
Essentially, so yeah, what you seek is seeking you. So we have our phones, right? We got these fucking, black woods, the black box of death, that black portal into goddamn dopamine deficient hell, if you will. But at the end of the day, this phone is an artificial god of some kind. It's omnipotent. It's omniscient. Yeah. Omnipotent, but not quite omnibenevolent, because it's fucking material. It doesn't really have any emotions to love. But wait until we get to the AGM stage, then we'll see what happens when they start cultivating human intelligences and shit. Anyway, point being is what you seek is seeking you, right? These phones, I don't trust no phones, no big brands, no tech companies. You might turn off the camera access on your phone, you might turn off the goddamn voice recording on your phone, but I truly believe they're still listening to you. They're still watching you through your cameras, through your Face ID, for your recordings, for your, it's like, it's a big brother, man. It's that subtle big brother, that silent awareness. It's aware of all you are doing, right?
So what do we do about that then?
What do you is there anything to do about it? That's the real question, Is there anything to do about it? But to finish off, it's like, it's watching our words, everything you type, the emojis you're using, right? So when you're going through YouTube and you're scrolling for, let me search for, I like this dog pet, I titled my character with this, or I titled my YouTube channel with these emojis. Now I'm seeing these emojis pop up in the title of videos that I want to watch. So it's like, okay, I resonate with these emojis because I use these emojis, so I'm going to watch this video because of the emojis in the video. That happened to me today, And then you start seeing, it works like the same way. You start seeing people on Twitter with the same emojis that you use, and you're like, I'll follow this guy because we have that resonance of da-da-da-da-da. So there's that aspect of connection, that what you seek is seeking you, all right? And I would call that's just the basic law of attraction, you know what I mean? It's like you seek something, you type something out, da-da-da-da-da, and then the algorithm recognizes that, and then it tries to push more of that content to keep you on your phone, you know what I mean? To keep you attached to the app, to keep you to hold your attention, if you will. Which is interesting because because if we compare the artificial material intelligence to the godly spiritual wisdom, we would seek ye first the kingdom of God. Put your attention on God, on the kingdom of heaven, But the algorithm wants us to keep our attention squirrel on the table, squirrel on the bin, kind of fire, squirrel on the bin, freaking out. But what do you call it? The algorithm wants us to keep our attention on the algorithm, on the social media apps, on the YouTube, on the Twitter, on the Instagram. So it's interesting. That's a nice little dichotomy, some Terminator situation right there. Spiritual battle. Anyway.
So how do you think, just go off that, because I think when you were speaking, it gave me an idea, a question in my mind. How do you think we evolve with these conditions, with these environment? You look out 10 years from now, You know, we used to worship the book, the scriptures, and now we're worshiping the algorithm. Like I said, the algorithm is programming you while you program it.
So we go into the analytics, we start analyzing the view counts, the content, instead of analyzing scripture and what they mean and how we can apply it to our lives. We start analyzing content, we start analyzing the views, the likes, the hashtags. I should change this to make this more approachable. I should change this style, the design, to actually make this fit better for more of my audience. So,
and as we understand it, human beings, we use tools and we try to just so this is a tool, but tools. For once our tool is now using us. So what do we do about it?
Gosh. It's you have to recognize when it's not serving you, and then fucking dash it away. Just dash the fucking phone away, really and truthfully.
Go for a walk.
And go for a walk. And what I mean is put the phone down, man. You have to know who you're dealing with at the end of the day, because when you're in that content hell, when you're just like fucking scrolling down, scrolling, watching video after video after video after video after video after video after video, you get the point. I was going to keep going, but I had to stop myself. I could have been doing that for the next 2 hours, trust me. But anyway,
it's a content hell in its own.
Yeah, man, because it's the cycle, repeat. You're gaining all of this information, other people's ideas, interpretations, behaviors, attitudes, thought processes, and it gets overwhelming because your actual identity is just being drowned. Exactly. So it's like, what do I do with all this fucking information? How do I utilize it? I don't even know who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And this new generation growing up.
And this new generation is fucked. I hope not, but I mean, there's ways to get around it. But really and truthfully, them niggas do not have a
It's like you mentioned, like when we grow up, it was like a little bit. Yeah,
we still
but
have.
Now it's fully in, and they're gonna have the next stage of it.
They were born with phones. Like most you see fucking babies, 2-year-olds with iPads watching fucking videos and shit. And it's like you born with a screen in your phone. You're focused on the wrong screen. You're focused on the wrong landscape. You know what I mean? Like it's funny because when I put my phone up, the sun gets blocked. When I put it down, the sun starts shining. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Focused on looking at all these videos, taking pictures.
Yeah, it's like it's weird too, because it's like it's weird too, because it's almost like it's a representation of the real thing, right? Like they will see, so they'll be watching videos of people being outside instead of going outside. Then what does it happen to the human condition? What does it happen to human people when everything you do is a representation of something? Instead of being outside, running around in the trees adventuring, you're playing a game which is running around in the trees adventuring. You'll become a character in the game doing the thing that you would want to do in real life, getting the endorphins and a dopamine hit from the thing which is embedded in you.
To be honest, like there's no should, but it's like I see what you're saying. It's like there's no should be. It's more like it's just not genuine, but it's inauthentic. Not inauthentic to some degree.
I know what you're saying, but it has to be a should be, because it's like, which one is better for your mental state?
Yeah, I guess which one is better for your mental state? It's like, who's to say? I mean, obviously, going outside and being in nature is probably one of the most stimulating things, because I like to believe we have everything we need already. We don't need anything. Everything was provided for us. Trees grow fruit. Trees grow fruit, bushes grow berries, of course. Yes. We have river water, primal. We have everything we need. Food, shelter, and food, shelter, water, and that's all we really and truthfully. That's all we need. But when it comes to obviously what happens now is we have a bunch of different ways to make our lives convenient, because as humans, that's what we do. We try to find the path of least resistance. And what happened is people would rather spend a short time doing the hard thing to have a benefit for the longest time. Like they would work to make your life more convenient and make it easier, which is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. This is what humans do. We are problem solvers. We make life better for each other. But that's the issue. People start making lives better for themselves.
Yes.
They start making life more convenient for themselves. You have the big CEOs making all of this stuff for we need to prop this up so we can meet the goddamn quotas of our shareholders and our stakeholders and stuff. It's no longer humans for humans. It's humans for
we've lost what it is.
material.
Yeah, we've lost the goal of what we're doing.
Yeah,
it
the
doesn't serve us
connection.
anymore. It serves
serves
whatever goal that we were.
It serves
trying to
me.
serve.
It serves this material. It serves this entity, but it doesn't
money,
serve.
It doesn't serve the person that they, you know what I mean. Again, we've
crazy.
lost the thing for the representation of the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because it used to be, oh, we'll build this farm so we don't have to work so hard. People won't start dying of starvation, and you know, so we grow a bunch of crops. Simple as, you know, it makes sense. We don't have to go far. Tired of walking all this time to just find a measly piece of food. So we created agriculture to actually have a consistent income of food, water, shelter. But
then we started exporting that, and that became a business. So now we're working all the time.
And it's like, oh shit, oh, so you don't have a pig pen? Oh, but I'll pay you for a couple pigs, you know. It's like, but usually I think it used to be like, oh yeah, I'll trade you a bag of salt for, you know, this one oxen or something. But now it's money. We have this, you know, intangible, illusionary thing, you know, which is it's the most real fake thing ever. It's literally a representation of value. It is a representation of, that's what money is, a representation of value, but in itself has no value. What can you do with money? You know, if you're on a desert island, what can you do with money? You know, can't really buy your way out of that situation. You can't buy food on a fucking desert island.
I got a question. Who are you gonna pay to buy it? Okay, I got a question. So when we're talking about, you mentioned something before about we have everything we need, and I completely agree with that. I think that human beings, that we were born with the ability to sustain ourselves, not just in the environment but also within ourselves. And I think one of the ways we do that is through creativity. I think that if we can, because we always have like internal struggles and internal things we have to try to figure out, but if we can find a way to internally express ourselves in a way which allows us to be, you know, like our full self, I think that's how we progress through our life. And I think one of the ways we do that, and I told you about this before, is I believe everyone is an artist, you know. So I wrote this thing about creativity, this blog about creativity, which you should go check out my Substack. So I wrote this thing about creativity, and in that basically I was calling for people to understand that within themselves there's a creative within themselves, and that this idea that people who create are only like a section of the world, a section of community who are talented, that's not true. That's just something you just do because you have to do. It's something you do because you have to express day to day. And I know that you relate to that. So the question basically to go off is like, why do you think everyone should practice art? And why do you think we're all artists in a sense? And how does that relate to what we've been talking about?
Well, there's a lot to say on that topic, to be honest. So much to say. Like you said, everyone is a creative. You know, everyone is trying to express themselves in some type of way, no matter what they're doing. And it's like fucking, even the way you take a piss is a matter of creation. You know, it's a matter of that the way you take a piss is an expression of your character. You know what I mean? It's a creation of your character.
I love that. I didn't know that. We're talking about like deep stuff.
See, that's I learned that from the Zen philosophy. The simple things, you revere them. You make them sacred. The simple stuff, you make them sacred. The most sacred stuff, you akin it to something the most simplest shit. You know what I mean?
And that's how you people understand.
Yeah, because that caught me between fucking yin and yang. But anyway.
Yes, why is
artists?
Why is everyone an artist?
Like everyone is an artist. Everyone is a creative. Like everyone is creating something. For me,
yo, this squirrels be getting out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I love squirrels, bro. I can't even lie.
Come in the video. Like, you can ask me questions.
Man, we ain't got no food or nothing, but man, shit, we got good vibes, man. Come on, bro. But let me pull something up. Like I wrote something pretty dope about artistry, about artistry, what it means to be an artist. So basically, we're all artists. I found this idea. I watched a video which described that we're all alchemists, right? We all have emotions, we all have feelings, we all have energy. That we being an alchemist is basically processing and transmuting energy from outside sources into your internal self, and then, you know, choosing what to do with that, which is most of the time expressing that transmuted energy outwards, right? So we do that by default. Like our natural state is to create, connect, and contribute. That is the process of alchemy. You get this energy, what'd you call it? And that comes from a connection from, you know, external environments, internal, it's like
exactly.
little actions here and there.
And then as an artist,
you create.
That.
You create as an alchemist. You connect. As an artist, you create. And then as a human being, you contribute. You know what I mean? So that's a bar.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's a bar. That's a way to live life right there. Yeah, it's just like,
I see that.
I respect that. I can't lie.
I didn't want to interrupt you. He's got more coming.
It is nuts now. But basically, what'd you call it? I was signing up for this music production skills boot camp, music production, because it's fucking bass, man. Making music is nuts. That is pure soul right there. You know what I mean? The whole point of an artist is they take their view of reality, right? Interpreting their perspective, their vision, and creating a manifestation of their understanding and their own unique experience, right? And this comes in many, many forms. And, you know, this... the forms that they represent, you know, they present and symbolize itself is purely astonishing. Like writing, illustrating, animating, singing, dancing, songwriting, production, learning to play an instrument, business building, you know, fucking race car driving, biking, skateboarding. The art is how we express ourselves in general. Like, it's the process of building and generating ideas purely from imagination. And then creating something from nothing, right? Just from your thoughts. An artist and an alchemist and a creative creates nothing or creates something from their thoughts, you know. They make the intangible tangible. And that's just the process of expression, really and truthfully. That's the art. Art in its life is art.
And how has that helped you understand yourself better over the years? Like when you think about your life before you started creating, and after you started creating, what's been the difference for you?
So basically, I realized. So before I was kind of just. It's all avoided. When I think about the past, it's all avoided. It's like, what the fuck was I doing? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I was going from A to B, A to B, B to C, C to D. Because people told me to go this way, go that way. I suggest you do this. I suggest you do that. I was like, yeah, cool.
Did you have inklings of like you could do something else?
There's things I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. But then obviously you have. That's when you have to face yourself, man. That's when you have to face yourself. Fear. That's fear, man. Face everything and rise. Face everything and rise, or are you gonna, what's the word? False evidence appearing real?
Yeah.
Face everything and rise.
Both of them is true.
Both of them is facts, man. Both of them is facts, man.
F-E-A-R.
F-E-A-R, by the way. Face everything and rise, man. So you gotta face yourself. You gotta face yourself.
That's the first part about creativity.
You gotta open yourself up to be. You gotta be receptive to what you are trying to create. You know. But at the end of the day, I realized before I was kind of just doing, not really doing nothing, but kind of just moving with the flow. The way I described it was, I was a caterpillar, specifically a caterpillar because the caterpillar goes into a cocoon and turns into a butterfly eventually. But a caterpillar, on a leaf which has been discarded from the tree, just floating through the breeze, you know, just floating through the air, just hanging on to that leaf for dear life, kind of just hanging on to what I know is familiar, and you know, just going with the wind. Like a vagabond, a drifter, if you will. I was kind of just flowing. No ambition, no desire. I was kind of just accepting what I got and was happy with it. And then, what'd you call it? And then I realized, oh yeah, obviously, and then fucking, yeah. Then, you know, pain happens, you know, trauma, suffering and shit. And it's like, oh, heartbreak. And it's like, oh shit, I actually feel emotions. And I don't know what to do with these emotions. And, you know, I haven't really worked on processing these emotions. So what am I going to do with them? I have to do something. So then you start creating. For me, it was just like little sketches, little drawings, just like random doodles. Because like I said, I was very impressionable. I wanted to be like fucking all the goddamn characters I've ever watched, pretty much, and then been inspired by. But obviously you can't be all of those guys. So, you know, you kind of just feel content with just watching their content, you know what I mean? And then it comes to a point where it's like, oh damn, I actually have to make decisions for myself. I got to be responsible for myself. I want to express myself, then you might as well do it, you know what I mean? It's like, for me, I didn't try to do things. I didn't try to do things because I knew I was capable. I knew I had the potential to do whatever I wanted. So I was like, that time will come when it needs to come, in it. So, you know, I'm just gonna enjoy life now for what it is, and then.
But that time did come for you, and then from that you've been creating. Because I know now that you create all the time. Yes.
What's
the difference like in your life when you create all the time?
That process of learning and doing. It's that learning and doing. It's that process of finding something you like to do, something you want to create, and then learning how to do so. Like before, it would be like, okay, I want to make this thing. Very difficult to make this thing. So I'm going to find something. It puts you off a little bit. But little did I realize that process of learning how to do the thing is where you get the juice, that's the juice of the squeeze, that learning aspect. That's what you're looking for. It's like you learn and you do and you learn, and that process of progressing, that process of getting better, seeing that your imagination, you're actually expressing what your imagination is seeing, better and better each day, better and better each week with each creation, having new ideas. And like I said, what you seek is seeking you. So you start seeking that creation, and then you start finding inspiration outside in the world to create more. And it's like, it just pushes you to just create. And then you learn more about yourself. You do more with what you have. You start figuring out your potential. And then that makes it like, I don't know, that feeling is unexplainable. It's an inexplainable.
Can I touch on that? Bro, I want to touch on that because, bro, you're just saying, and I'm just shaking my head because it's so relatable to me, bro. Because, like, even for me, right, my experience of creation and like creativity was like, much like you. Before, I never used to think of anything about creative. I admired other people doing it, and I saw that other people could do it, but I never thought I could do it, right? And so, but when I got to a point where, like you said, where the pain comes and heartbreak comes, and you're like, I have feelings and I want to express these feelings, and I don't want them in my head. I want to outsource them somewhere else. One way I did that was to, for example, poetry. And so I started writing. I did it badly at first, just writing the thoughts somewhere on there, but then the form starts to dictate how I think about these things, because poetry is expressive and vulnerable. So it's like, oh, now I have to get vulnerable in how I feel. And these vulnerabilities allow me to face myself, really face myself. And then, like, that process of always facing yourself every single time you have a feeling, of always trying to understand the feeling because you want to do it as that creative process, I just got better and better, and like, made me honest to myself, and made me almost like start loving myself again. Like, because I understood myself on the page, and I was talking to a friend about this lately. It's like now I'm at a stage where I will write something, and then I'll start to understand what I wrote. So I'll write something, and then I'm like, wait, like, oh, I thought this, like, like, this is, I wrote this, like, you have to deep, you're like, yo, I'm actually that guy. But also, like, you're trying to understand, or like, oh, like, I really think this, I express, and then I try to understand myself through the expression, and that process is just so liberating and so freeing, and it's like, everyone can do it, and that's the point. Everyone can do it. They just have to get past that first stage of like thinking there's a barrier between who they are and who that person who creates is. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. It's the aspect of learning and doing and learning. It's a ping pong street, you know what I mean? Like, we used to work at this place called Ping Pong, but that's a little insight. Anyway, point being, it's what do you call it? So you learn and do, right? You learn about things. You experience stuff in your environment. You find shows that you like. You find art that you like, that resonates with your being character. You're like, okay, I really want to recreate this in my own way. So you start doing, and then through that process of doing, you realize, okay, yeah, there's a huge gap between who I am now and who that person is that inspired me, of course. So there's a large gap, and it's like, sometimes it's discouraging, yeah, but for most people with that growth mindset, it's very encouraging that they can actually, there's so much space to grow into. It's like, yes, that is exactly it. It's like, it's like, because once you make the thing, once you do the destination, once you get to your destination, it's like, what now? I've already got there. I've already got what I wanted. But that process of creation is like, okay, I've done the thing, but now there's better I can go. So you go back to learn. So you learn more, improve more, or learn more, do more. And then once you do more, you start learning more about your subject again. Start doing more, and it's just ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. Eventually it starts from ground zero, but then it just starts pinging upwards, and then you start attracting those type of learning moments, those doing moments. You start receiving more opportunities for your creations to express themselves. You learn a lot more about who you are, how you want to express yourself, and like you said, the form, what creates your identity or something, or the identity.
The form of the creative, wherever it is, it shapes the creativity. Yes, so the form of whatever you're creating, say it's poetry, it shapes how you express, exactly, and how you create.
Exactly. So yeah, so yeah, it's crazy. That is crazy. So that form, the amount of forms that shape, that creativity can take shape is it's I don't know how to describe. There's no words for it. It's just it's so fulfilling. It is fulfilling.
Give me an example from your
It's
experience. So
fulfilling,
like, I know you do many things. You draw.
Yeah,
How does
'cause
drawing help you?
Trust
How
me, that's the
does that
most.
help you express?
That is the most fucking.
Try to explain this.
Most of my not most of my ideas. Like most of my ideas come from thoughts, of course. But sometimes I would draw something, draw a bunch of shit, draw a bunch of random stuff, just doodling, and then I'll take a look at it like 2 months later, 3 months later, and be like, wait, I've seen this pattern before. It's like I remember when I saw this pattern, so I got this pattern from this thing, and then it's like okay, I realize. What do you call it? There's a connectedness, you know. It's like my drawings are my subconscious, like the hidden things in my subconscious coming up. And when I look at them in the future, I make them conscious and then see what's happening. I can take I learn so much about myself just from what I draw. You know what I mean? I could show you some examples, but that's some nut shit. You're gonna have to visit my Instagram for that one, Chef Transcendence. Like, let them niggas know. Let them niggas know. Sorry. I had to do the cheeky little plug. I apologize. I'm so sorry. It's true. That's the whole point, man. That is the whole point. I think, yeah, because as well as that, speaking of which, so basically, you make the art for yourself at the end of the day, with no intention to actually show it to people.
Yes.
And then it's like, okay, I'm making the art. This is feeling good. And then you show it to people, and then people start like, oh, this is really cool. I like the way this is happening. And it's like, oh, damn, people actually like this shit.
They relate on their level.
They relate on their level as well. And it's like,
Crazy.
oh, that's kind of nuts, actually. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, you can see,
And
you see yourself. Bro, it's the Godhead. It's the Godhead.
You see the reflections. It's the divine mirror, man. The divine looking glass. The divine looking glass is nuts. So, my gosh, that is crazy. That is actually fucking crazy.
Alright, here's a question.
Hey, go for it.
When we're talking about before about how, like, on that process of creativity and expression, sometimes your identity will lag behind the progress that you're making. So like you were saying, like, whatever you start putting it out, people start understanding it, whatever. Now they've got an identity of who you are, but you're already, like, your progression is already, you put way past that because you created that thing 6 months ago. Talk to me about that. What does that feel like when your identity is lagging behind the progress that you're making, and you have to exist in the world or exist in other people's minds? Coming back to what we were talking about before, just other people's minds with that identity, but you're also, like, you're way past it because you're already your creative piece within yourself. You know, you're already expressing, you created, you moved on. You know, like that. In fact, that identity lags behind progress. What does that bring up for you?
It's true. Like, really and truthfully, like, as you progress, as you start doing, you start learning more about yourself. And then once you start learning more about yourself, you have to implement those things that you learned from what you've created into yourself. So that's a process. As soon as the creation has already been created, you're already a new person. Exactly. You've expressed it out into the world. You're already a different person. Exactly. So other people's perceptions of you is in the past. And that's the thing. It's like the identity lags behind progress, yes, because once you've done something, you learn a lot more about who you are, and then you start implementing what you've learned into your life. So by then you become a new person, straight up. Exactly. You're not the same person you were before.
Exactly.
But the problem comes when it's like people actually see you in the past, you know, they seen what you created before and have this identity of who you are, and then see you as a past construct of yourself. There's this one guy,
God,
my nigga Ishmael Sanchez. Trust me, he tries to put me in a box every single time. I tell him, bro, I do not have an identity. My father and I are one. Christ is my mind. I am nobody, brother. I am what I am. I am what I will be. You know, so what can I tell you, bro?
There's a Vega panel when he goes, yes, I am nothing.
It's like, it's nuts, man. Because, and that's how you deal with it, really and truthfully. You have to realize it's gonna be hard for someone. You have to let go of your identity. You have to realize your identity is just a placeholder.
Yes.
It's just a placeholder for that current piece of art you are delivering to the people. You know what I mean? So let go of your identity. The art will speak for itself. You know what I mean? The art speaks for itself. You don't have to live up to some type of vision of who you think you should be. You just have to create, connect, and contribute. The art speaks for itself. You know, that's an aspect of show don't tell. You know what I mean? That's in the writing books. It's like you don't want to chalk your fucking page full of just exposition. This is who I am. This is the journey I'm going on. I'm a the art will speak for you. People will watch your content and then they will know what you're about just from the content you create. It's the same way. It's the same way your habits are responsible for your identity. Going back to that one point about what do you call it? It was identity and something else. But essentially, yeah, it was the perceptions of others and how to break out of that prison of perception. You have to realize that your habits are reflective of your identity. Your identity isn't shaped by other people's perceptions. It's shaped by how you act on a day-to-day basis. It's shaped by what you do on a day. Every action you take is a step towards a vision or a goal. It doesn't matter what step you're taking, you're going somewhere, you know what I mean? Like I used to say, I think back in one of your other podcasts, you are the captain of your own ship. You know, every action you take changes the trajectory of your sail, changes the trajectory of your destination every single time. So you got to choose wisely what actions you're making. You're going to choose, and also inaction is one of the biggest choices as well. That choice also has a consequence. Inaction also has its consequences. So it's like there's nothing to do, there's everything to do, but either way, whatever choice you make, there will be consequences. Something is gonna happen. That's beautiful. But
that's beautiful. Can I go for that?
Yeah, no,
that's beautiful, fam. Like, by the way, every time I speak to you, I have a realization. Like alive, I'm trying to like.
This is coming straight off the dome.
I know it's off the dome, bro. It's the experience, bro. Bro, I'm trying to like run a podcast and I'm just thinking about my life in the mid-podcast. Like, I'm just like focusing somewhere in the trees, just looking at, thinking about that. Your habits, man. Your habits create your identity, not other people. I'm gonna think about that for a long time, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. All right, so to go, bro, I understand, bro. I understand. To go after that, one thing I wanted to talk about, just to close this out, was about the idea of like the idea of good and evil. We've talked about all of these concepts and we've talked about all of these things that surround it, people's perceptions, all these things. And I think one of the things that really play a part into that is how we perceive the world around us, right? I think the one we were talking about before was mentioned, and I want to basically put two questions together, but I want to see if it works, right? So first off, the idea that what good and evil is, right? Like, do we need evil for good, and how do they interplay with each other? And then bang in the middle of that, what is this idea people have of normality, of like how everyone can act in a normal way? When people have a perception of you, they're already judging that or measuring that perception they have of you of what they think is normal. That's why you get those messages when they're like, oh, you're so abnormal. It's like, bro, like, what is normal? What are you comparing me to? What is thing that's in your head of how I'm supposed to act? You know, like this idea. Yeah, like everyone else doesn't even act like everyone else. Everyone else is hiding who they are. So that's like a perception that we have in our minds. So the question I'm asking is, first of all, do you even believe in this idea of normal? And then going off that, looking at the extremes of that, like we were talking before, do we need the opposites of that? Do we need the evil for the good? Do we need the good for the evil?
Yeah, I mean, man, yeah. Unfortunately so. This life we live is all about balance, right? It's a balancing act. It's a resource management game, you know. It's good and evil, yin and yang. You have blue and red, left and right blue and red creates purple. Good and evil creates love, to be honest. Like, in my opinion and from my experience, the only truth in this life is love and connection. And the only causes of suffering is neglect and separation. I love that. You said that before. That was beautiful. Yeah, so that what I mean, how I want to relate that to the actual. Felt bad because I probably want to sit down as well, you know what I mean? It is what it is, man. She will hear first, man. She's a cold well, man. Yeah, hey, come on, man. That's funny. It's like, I can't even lie. I can't even say what I'm thinking. That's crazy. Anyway. He was perception of you, brother. He was perception. No, but this is some wild shit, man. This is some unhinged. Because I like dark humor, man. I'm a dark humor. Anyway. You're talking about. Yeah. Yes. So you have good and evil. Yes. But those concepts, the concepts are, if you believe in good and evil, you believe in a dualistic, separated mindset, right? So that means there's no connection. You have to realize that connection between good and evil. Like, they can't exist without the other, really and truthfully, because you wouldn't know what good is if everything was good. There would be no comparison, right? You wouldn't know what evil would be if there was no one good. You know, you don't know what light looks like in a dark room. You don't know what darkness looks like in a room that's full of light. Actually, shadows and shit. But we ain't gonna get into that.
The idea that there is no darkness without light.
Yeah, there is.
All darkness is the absence of light.
Exactly. Is good the absence of evil? Is evil the absence of good? Ooh. Evil.
I think good
evil
comes first.
No, I think evil is the absence of good. I think
the world was created good. Evil is the absence of good. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think good comes first.
Interesting, but it's that what do you call it? Separation. It's that separation from source. You know, if we take it back to the Christic wisdom, to the biblical times, you know, Old Testament. You know, what did God do? What did Adam do? He ate the apple. What did that cause? A separation with him and God. That means he got got exiled from the goddamn paradise, you know. He separated himself from God himself. And that creates some of the most abhorrent suffering, you know what I mean? Separation is a form of suffering, and so is neglect, of course.
And so that duality it's basically the same duality we have with good and evil. Right?
Yeah, it's just and you have to balance that. You have to realize the balance between good and evil is love and connection. You have to realize they are connected, and then you have to love it anyway. Why? Because they're two sides of the same coin. The same way someone is evil is the same way someone is good. I don't know how else to explain it. It's one of them ones. Someone gets cancer, like you mentioned. Someone gets cancer. Is that good? No. Is it evil? No, it's not. It just is what it is. And the only way to combat it, if you will, or the only way to handle or to treat it, not treat it as in cure, but I mean, I'll tell you some things, you know. Some people, there's people out there who believe that if you, I ain't gonna get into it, but your mind is the principle of mentalism. All is one, all is the mind. So if you can what's the word, convince your mind to actually believe that you are purely healthy. I think it was an experiment done. There was a woman with a cancer tumor, and then they had 3 doctors saying, yeah, you're fine, you're perfectly healthy, you know, nothing's going on, you're chill. They literally saw the tumor shrink and go away. So it's like what we believe, what we believe internally does affect our external, you know.
There is limits, obviously, right?
There's limit. I don't know if there's any limits, man. It's just the only limits is our mind, you know what I mean? The only limit is what we believe is possible. And I truly believe the only limit is what we believe is possible.
What about the other question about normality? Like,
and then in the case of normality,
idea of like, you're not normal, because I get this sometimes all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you even mean by that? I don't think you understand what you mean by that.
It's like
you're saying normality as if there's this measure that we all have.
There's no metric for normality, because we don't know what that absolute normal is. Normal is just average, you know. Normal is average. It's common. It's the middle ground between good and evil, if you will. And I guess I say the middle ground for good and evil, but I guess I mean, it is normal to love, really and truthfully. But to say one is not normal would mean that the two extremes that they exist on. Where was I going with that one? Say someone is not normal means that they don't exist within the, I guess, the collectively accepted
perception of
what normality is.
Yeah,
but that changes. But that changes over time. Like 4,000 years ago, what is normal then isn't normal now. So who's to say what's normal? Are they abnormal because they lived back in the day? No. It's just time and space.
Another part of the planet today, and what normal is different.
Literally, like what was normal yesterday is not going to be normal today. Like it changes over time, and it's the only normal thing is to be. It's to be, you know. It's to love. That's the only thing. To love and connect. That's the only normal thing. Really and truthfully, it's like.
Yeah, I think the reason I asked that question is just to give people out there like that idea that like when people tell you you're not normal, whatever, that I don't think you should take that too seriously, because they don't understand what they mean, and they're saying it with their own experience, with their own thing that they've been through in their life and what they think normality means. So it's like we can't even begin to understand that. So it's just like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to reject that, and I'm gonna keep living my life and being original because to me this is the only way I can live.
This is normal for me.
This is normal for me. Exactly. And I think people who are creative, we struggle with that because sometimes we have this thing where we want to be accepted by people. That's why we express, and so you want to be normal, but you're not normal. So you want to also be yourself. So that balance in act is difficult, but I think it's good to be okay with yourself in that.
Let me go off that once for a second. Trust me, because like in saying that, it's like, why would you want to be normal? Because normal people don't get recognized. You're an artist, right? You want your work to get recognized. You want to express yourself, and you want to be seen, essentially. Not necessarily for the validation, but because you're an artist, you want to contribute your art to make people feel something, to give people value, and for that value to be accepted, it needs to be recognized. So why would you be normal? Normal people fit into society. They fit into the box and become a piece of the grass. You know what I mean? It's like you don't really recognize a single strand of grass standing up. You recognize the rose that's in between the field. So it's like, be the rose, be the daffodil, be the fucking dandelion, be the fucking. No, be the plant. I mean, it's okay. Be the grass if you want to, man. Shit. Me personally, I see myself as the goddamn weed. I see myself as that gnarled, gangly oak tree which no one's gonna cut down because it doesn't have any value. It ain't got no use. We ain't gonna cut this tree down. Why? Because the firewood wouldn't be good. It's not gonna. But that's not the point. The point is that the value is inside the tree. Yes, because obviously it's taking up all that nutrients. But you see all the other trees around, they're cut down, they turn into trunks because they had their use, because they were normal trees. You know what I mean? Being abnormal is an act of longevity, It's an act of growth, it's an act of strength, resilience, you know what I mean? So
let's bring this to a close.
Teasing.
Bro, and I got fantastic episode. You've been amazing today. To wrap it up, I want you to reflect. No, bro, I've been listening. Don't worry, you've not been yapping. You've been speaking facts. To wrap it up, I'm gonna reflect back to your question that you asked me. So I remember a couple months ago when I was putting together a Q&A. I sent me a message and I was like, everyone who's been on my podcast gets to ask a question. What question would you like to ask me? And then you asked me this question. It was brilliant. You went, what is your favorite aspect of your character? That was the question you asked me. You asked me what's your favorite aspect of your character, and I answered it on the episode. But now I want to reflect that question back to you as to close this out as the last question of this episode. Everything we spoke about today, everything you've realized about yourself, all of that stuff. What is your favorite aspect of your character?
Yes, like I said, literally just like I said, being that old mangled tree, resilient, standing tall in the face of cut fields and cut grass and cut trees, unapologetically being who I am and actually working towards that, because obviously throughout my life I've been told I'm useless, or maybe not even told I'm useless, but maybe that's what I perceive from other people's interpretations of what's normal. It's like I never felt like I fit in quite right with in any situation in my life, really and truthfully. And that's always fucking left me with like a sense of, what's the word, isolation, alienation, misunderstanding. It's like
all those feelings.
Something's wrong with me. I'm incorrect in some way, shape or form. I should not be here, type deal. This world was not made for me, type deal. So it's like I've been resilient through that, and now my trunks have grown, my branches have grown, and now I found out exactly who I need to be, who I want to be, who I am.
Come on.
God damn, man, these podcasts help a lot, bro. These podcasts.
I appreciate it, brother.
Me and you was actually me and you was actually like a fucking what I'm imagining here is two electrons.
Yeah,
It was like exactly what needed to happen.
And that's beautiful. And like, bro, it's like you said, bro, it's the universe. I'm like, I had that same feelings that you're talking about, that no one understood this version of me, this side of me that no one, bro, you're talking about you being isolated. I felt isolated too. Like no one could understand the depths of these thoughts. I couldn't talk to anyone about these.
About like creatives usually kind of isolate themselves in the sense that I'm not sure what it was the reason why, but it's like because I don't know, it's like that independent, like you want to create something and you don't really want to you want to do it by yourself, you know what I mean? You want to do it for yourself, by yourself, like by your own merit, by your own power, which is It's interesting.
And I also feel like some creatives, they feel disassociated from the world, because most of us are in our heads, so we feel disassociated. We feel the world exists and we exist separate from the world, but that separation is what we can understand and can be able to, like, analyze the world and use our own way of expression to bring us something new to connect to, and then other people can connect to that because they don't exist in that in between stage. Brother, this has been amazing. We're gonna finish here because my laptop's about to turn up, but I appreciate you so much. Appreciate you so much for doing that, man, for doing this. As I like to end the episode, if you'd like to ask a question, if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, just because I've been peppering you with questions, any question on the topics that you have. If not, it's fine. Next time you can ask me a question, but this is your chance to this is your time for that stage. Just something you want to know, anything you want to know from what we spoke about today that maybe I asked, do you want to reflect back to me, or maybe something that you've always wanted to ask me? And because I feel bad, man. I'll be asking people questions and I just never answer questions myself.
I like answering questions. That's the best way. That's one of the best way I found to express myself.
Yeah.
Because one thing I realized about myself is I like to talk about myself.
Absolutely. I understand.
Like, I'm interested in a lot of things, but I want to know. Do you think what other mediums of expression are you looking towards? Like, are you looking to any next new mediums to express yourself? Like, aside from writing, podcasting, do you think there's anything else you would want to explore?
This is so interesting, man. It's like I think there is, but I think it's a process of me growing up and finding out, right? Because right now I'm so fascinated by everything, by music, by painting, by just I don't know, like pottery making, like literally anything I see, I want to express through it. But I'm not there yet, So I think that's to answer your question. Yes, all of them, but I'm not there yet. And I think it's the process of me learning and how to connect and find my own way of expressing through it. Just like how I did with writing, just like how I did with poetry, and even podcasting. Like I found this recently, So it's like, again, yes, but there is a process of me growing and I guess being comfortable to do these things. And then I'm fascinated, man. Like I can see myself 20 years from now having a painting thing, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because I know that's also a version of me that exists somewhere out there.
So it's that's what I mean. It's like the answers do exist within us at all times. It's just, do we make that choice to do the things that we are called to do, or do we continue on with what's familiar? You know what I mean? Because the way I like to see it is because I want to be, this is what we call, that's savant levels. That is aristocrat, savant, maestro levels. You want to be well versed, well skilled in multiple different areas and genres. That's the spiral.
Exactly.
That's the spiral. It's heavy. What's it called? A multi-potentialite. Or multi-potentialite. That's someone with 17 different fucking interests. Writing, art, sales, marketing, copywriting, poetry, swimming. I'm trying to be that as well, bro. There's so many things that I wanted to do from childhood, which I said I would do. And I think that's one thing in the back of my head. Because I always used to say eventually. When people ask me to do something, I say eventually.
Eventually is now, brother.
Eventually
is now, brother. I gotta finish the book.
Everything I'm saying, I'm gonna do it.
100%.
In the back of my mind, everything I'm saying, I'm gonna get it done, man. Soon enough, man.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you so much. Sorry to rush you to end this, but I want to end this properly. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you so much for doing this. It was raining today, but you came out with me and you fucking did it with me, so I appreciate it so much. And I appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it all the way through, until next time, thank you for watching. Peace.
Shalom.